أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنة إلى يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, brothers, to a discussion of fiqh for your level. We're talking about still in the section of Tahara. We looked at wudu, and last week we saw wiping over the socks, right? And we said these are the conditions or the shurut to make wiping valid. Naam. And we said there are many ahadith talking about this, and you can refer it on your own as well in your free time. So the main point being that the person should be in a state of tahara before putting them on. We discussed all this in detail, and we also looked at the time duration for wiping, which is like for residents 24 hours from the first wipe, and for travelers 72 hours from the first wipe. Barakallahu feekum. I hope this is clear, inshallah. And the acts which invalidate wiping, not wudu, because acts, the nawaqid of wudu, the invalidators or nullifiers of wudu, is different. We already saw this, alhamdulillah. These are actions which invalidate wiping, ma'am. So if you remove your socks for any reason, you cannot wipe again over it. You have to make wudu if you are broken the wudu. I mean, wash your feet, I mean. And then any acts which require ghusl, end of the permitted time, and so on and so forth. And we also saw that wiping is done on the top of the foot rather than the bottom, starting from the toes, moving upwards towards the ankles, the right hand for the right foot, left hand for the left foot, simultaneously, inshallah, and using wet hands. You don't wash your socks, you just use wet hands and wipe over them. Barakallahu feekum. So we saw all of this last week, alhamdulillah. Regarding the test, one of the brothers told me that he couldn't do it, and I think some brothers in the WhatsApp group as well were complaining they couldn't do the test. But why? Why is the reason? Can I know? Because I announced it in the class. I posted the link on the groups, both the WhatsApp and the Telegram groups. And still, I think we just had around 20 or 25 responses to the test. And obviously the deadline was completed, finished, so the test closed. So, and usually I do not do this, but I think there are some brothers who have not given the test for whatever reasons. Please take these things seriously, brothers. The point is, would you do the same thing with your work-related assignments? So let's say in your office, you have an assignment. You have to finish a deadline. Would you delay it intentionally? I don't think so, right? Because there is money involved, right? There is a salary involved in this. But for some reason, we see Muslims, generally speaking, not only you yourself, but generally speaking, maybe some of you have a valid reason, alhamdulillah, no problem, inshallah. But many of the Muslims, we take things in the religion very lightly. I do not know why. Though it should have more precedence, right? And the same person in his office, he will take things very seriously. When the boss gives him an assignment, he will do it before the deadline. But when you have tests like these, we see many brothers not taking it very lightly. Please, brothers, at least for my course, I'm not sure about the other teachers, but my courses, I do not take this leniently. I'm very strict in my exams. I take the deen very seriously and expect all of you to take it very seriously. Islam is serious business. Barakallahu feekum. Jazakumullah khairan. Taib. So anyway, because you're in the level 1 and maybe you don't know me very well, Taib, but I will inshallah also be for you, if Allah gives me life, in level 3 and level 4 as well. And in that levels, you will not have a second chance. Please. Taib. So this time I'm going to give an exception for you because you're level 1, alhamdulillah. Now, so I will open up the test. It's open now from after the class until 22nd of Shaban. So you have until Yom al-Jum'ah, this Jum'ah, 25th of March. So you have like 3 days, and the deadline is 10 p.m. Saudi time, 10 p.m. Saudi time. After this, I will not give you any further extensions. You will lose the marks. Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullah khair. This is the last final extension for all of you. Taib, please communicate with your brothers, your colleagues, your friends in the groups and let them know. Yom al-Jum'ah is the last deadline. The link is the same as was posted earlier. The link is the same. Yeah. So please attempt it, and inshallah, may Allah make it easy for you. Barakallahu feekum. So Yom al-Jum'ah, 10 p.m. Saudi time is the deadline. The test will close. Brother Ahmad, you have a question?
I mean, this was the test which was posted a while ago. I have done that, so I don't need to do it again, right?
Obviously, you've done it. See, please pay attention. I'm talking about the brothers who did not do the test, right? So if you've already done it,
Oh,
alhamdulillah,
okay,
I
okay,
have the
okay.
marks, I have the scoring done. That will be done, no problem, inshallah.
Yeah.
Barakallah. But the brothers who have not done, this is the last chance. I'm giving you an exception. Usually I do not do this, but this is an exception. Brother Ryan, you have a question?
Ustad, one question. Did we discuss how to do the wiping of the socks? Because according to my memory, I don't remember. Just if you could.
Your memory doesn't serve you well, brother. So we did it already last week. So please refer to the video.
Really?
Barakallah. Yes, Jazakallah.
Okay.
Type. So moving on, now we have Tayammum. Type. So though this is not part of the book, you don't have this in your course. Barakallah fikum. Brothers, if you we'll do questions in the end. Type. I just took some questions because I thought they were related to the test. We'll do questions in the end. Please hang on to your questions. Regarding Tayammum, though this is not part of the book, it's not in your course, but since it's part of purification, I thought it makes sense to insert it and talk about it briefly, inshallah. And it's very easy. Doing Tayammum is very easy. So what is Tayammum? Tayammum is basically using clean soil or sand or dust and the like to purify oneself when there are certain conditions, right? And what are the conditions? If there is no water, absolutely. So there is no water available, the taps have run dry, the tank is dry, you don't have water, and it's time for wudu, and you don't have tahara. So Allah made it easy for us, subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He gave us this rukhsah, this allowance to make tayammum. Or the water is only enough for drinking. So you have water, but if you use it for wudu, you will not have any more water to drink. And like we said earlier, the Sharia was revealed to preserve human life for the safety of the Muslims. So you need this water for drinking. So if you don't have any other water, for example. So in this case, you can make tayammum, even though there is water, but that water is required, very really required for your, for your drinking. Otherwise, you will not have any water to drink. Barakallahu fikum. So in this case, you can still do tayammum. Barakallahu fik. Or if there is a possibility of harming the human body, harming yourself if you use water. So for example, you have, I don't know, a deep wound or something like qadar Allah. Yeah. And by washing that, you will make it worse. There could be an infection and things like this. And doctors tell you not to apply water there on the body or whatever. Yeah. So in this case, if using water is going to, or for example, an old man, for example, and it's very cold and there's only cold water available, there is no hot water available, and by using this cold water, the old man can get, I don't know, pneumonia or something as la qadar Allah. In this case, you can make tayammum. Barakallah. So if one is seriously sick, right? So all these cases, you can make tayammum, right? But the most obvious case is when there is no water, absolutely. And like we said, you do it using soil and sand. Clear? Wada? Tayyib. So how is tayammum done? Simple and easy. You have the niyyah in your heart, as you did for wudu. The niyyah is always in the heart for any act of worship. Keep this in mind, brothers. Do not forget this. The intention is always in the heart. You do not utter anything on the tongue. Wada? Tayyib. You say Bismillah, as you did for wudu. Okay? And look for a place where there is clean sand or soil. It should be visibly clean. You don't have to do an investigation, chemical analysis. No. You see it's clean, alhamdulillah, you can go ahead and use the soil or sand or dust. Barakallahu feek. You spread your palms, as shown in the figure number 1 there on the right. You spread your palms, yeah, and strike them on the ground. Strike them on the, just a minute. Okay. So you strike them with your palms on the soil, the clean soil or the clean dust which you have, right? Or which you see. Once, only once. And then if there is too much sand which comes on your palms because of the striking, you can blow if you wish. It's not required, but if you wish, you can blow. And then what do you do? As you see the picture, the brother with the cap, right? You wipe once your face. And the face is the same as the face was for wudu. Starting from the forehead, running to the edge of the ears, the tragus, and the jawline and the what do you call it? I don't know, the bottom of the face. Yeah. So once, only once, you wipe, and then without any more striking. So you strike only once in the beginning. That's it. You strike only once in the beginning. You wipe your face, and then with the left palm, wipe the back of your right hand, as shown in figure number 3. Then with your right palm, wipe the back of your left hand. That's it. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. And you make the dua, and that's it. You're ready to pray salah. You can make tawaf and whatever. Again, you strike the ground or clean sand or clean soil with your palms. If there is too much sand which comes onto your palms, and if you wish, you can blow some away if you wish. Otherwise, no. You proceed. Now, you wipe your face once, as shown in the figure. And the face is the same as we did for wudu. That's the boundary of the face. Only once. Then without striking again, using the palm of your left hand, wipe the back of your right hand. Then using the palm of your right hand, wipe the back of your left hand. Alhamdulillah. That's it. Wada, simple and easy. Clear? Type. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and if you have any questions, we'll try to take them in the Q&A or towards the Q&A session, inshallah. 2 terms you should know in terms of Tahara, because sometimes people confuse between the two. Najasah and Hadath. Najasah and Hadath, yeah? What is Najasah? Najasah, or you can say filth or something like that, yeah, in terms of English language. It is materials which make the body or the clothes or the soil or the area of your praying, yeah, unclean and impure. And this prevents salah from happening in that condition. And it's usually, please mute your microphones, it's usually always a tangible object. And it can be wiped, it can be washed, it can be cleaned. You can feel it, you can see it. This is Najasah. Like droppings, like feces, like urine, these kind of things, yeah, which you can see and make, it's visible, it's tangible, and they make this place dirty or the clothes dirty. This is what we call Najasah. So something physical. Now, Hadath, on the other hand, is what we refer to as ritual impurity. Ritual impurity. And we have Hadath Akbar wa Hadath Asghar. The major impurity, ritual impurity, and the minor ritual impurity. Hadath Akbar is usually through, post-sexual impurity. So when you approach your spouse, for example, or the sisters have their haid and the postpartum bleeding, these kind of things put them in a state of major impurity or Hadath Akbar, right? And Hadath Asghar, on the other hand, is a minor impurity. When a person's wudu has been nullified. We talked about the nullifiers earlier, right? Anything coming out of the private parts, deep sleep, eating camel's meat. So all this, touching your private parts, all these put you in a state of Hadath Asghar. So you can see the difference between Najasah and Hadath. This is very important, yeah? From a fiqh perspective. Sorry. Yeah, so this is, I hope it's clear. And Hadath Asghar, usually you make wudu to become purified, and Hadath Akbar usually requires ghusl. What is ghusl? We will see now. It's coming today, inshallah. What is ghusl? Clear? Wada. And Najasa, you clean it, you wash it, that's it. So for example, I'm in state of wudu, yeah? And on my thobe, I have some Najasa. So I have not broken my wudu because of this. You have to understand the difference, because shaitan comes and he kind of confuses you. You just have to wash it, clean it, and you can pray. Or change the thobe and you can pray. Your wudu doesn't break because of najasa, but your wudu breaks because of hadath. Akbar or asghar. Asghar requires making wudu. Akbar requires making ghusl. Clear? Ghusl. Or what we call like a bath, Islamic bath, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So what is ghusl? Now, first of all, when is it needed? If a person becomes a Muslim from a kafir state, right? A kufr state. So like he's a Hindu, Christian, whatever, he accepts Islam by the will of Allah and tawfiq of Allah. He says that shahadatain, now he needs to make ghusl. Wada, When a Muslim dies, as we know, so when a Muslim or a Muslimah passes away, the people attending to him or her, they wash the body. They make ghusl for the body. Because the person is dead, he can't do his own ghusl, but it has to be washed. Even though the body is going to decay, it is going to decompose, the earth is going to consume it, but you still make ghusl because this is the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as we just saw in the previous slide, when somebody is in the state of hadath akbar, they have to make ghusl to become purified. In this case, wudu is not sufficient. Wudu is not sufficient. Wudu is sufficient only for asghar. For akbar, you need to make ghusl. Ghusl. So things like sexual discharge, sexual intercourse, even without discharge. That's important there. What do I mean? So when the husband and wife meet and the private parts meet, right? And the private part enters the organ, the female organ, even without discharge, the male has not discharged his semen. Even in this case, or even the female has not discharged, even in this case, you need to make ghusl. As long as the private parts meet, you have to make ghusl. Very important, because some brothers think that only if there is discharge, you have to make ghusl. No. If you are approaching a spouse, the private parts meet, even if there is no discharge of money, you have to make ghusl. Very important. For the sisters, the last 2 points, after their haid, when they become pure, and a sister knows when she is pure, alhamdulillah, and also after delivery, you know, when the sisters deliver a child, by the grace of Allah, and they have a period of bleeding, they bleed from the private parts. So once this is purified, or after 40 days, even if it is not, the bleeding continues, but the limit is 40 days, yeah? Now they make ghusl, and now they can start praying, and so on and so forth. Wada? So these are the areas in which, or the times when a person would require ghusl. When a Muslim dies, there is an exception. Who knows? Ghusl is not required. We said, generally speaking, when a Muslim or a Muslimah dies, you wash the body, except in one condition. What condition? Who knows? You get the question? We said when a Muslim passes away, the others wash the body. Brother Sayyid Jafar Ali. Naam.
Yes, if it is a shaheed,
Naam.
then he is not given a ghusl.
Barakallah fiqh. Also, some brothers on the chat box, the correct answer. Not sickness, no, not. How sickness, ya Sheikh? Because the person is dead. Sickness will not harm him, he's dead. So how come sickness is a reason? Naam, clear? The person is dead. The only reason he's not washed is when he dies as a shaheed, fi sabilillah. Fi sabilillah, because the status of shaheed is given to many categories, like a person drowning, a person dying by a wall falling over him, dying through some stomach ailment. All these things also have a category of shaheed, but not the same category as dying fi sabilillah in the battlefield. And that is the only category in which there is no ghusl. But every other category, if a person dies by a wall falling on him or drowning, you still make ghusl for him. Clear? Only when the person dies fi sabilillah, in the way of Allah, in this case, there is no ghusl. Wada? Okay, so now we want to see how ghusl is made. We talked about wudu, we talked about wiping over the socks, we talked about tayammum, alhamdulillah, today. So ghusl, again, there are some obligatory actions or wajibat, and then there are also certain sunnan actions. In terms of obligation, the niyyah, always in the heart, to attain tahara from your state of hadath akbar. And number 2, washing the entire body, including the nose and the mouth. Clear? These are the wajib acts. But again, as a Muslim, as we said earlier, we want to do the complete ghusl as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did it. But let's say, for example, water is less, water is scarce. Yeah, you're living in a country where water is not easily available. Now, and you have a case of hadath akbar, you approach your spouse or whatever. So in this case, you don't have maybe enough water to do the whole sunnan ghusl. In this case, if you have the niyyah and wash your entire body from the top, bottom down and to the bottom, yeah, once khalas, alhamdulillah, you can go and you can pray, you have achieved tahara. So these are the fard or the obligations of ghusl. In terms of sunnah, these are the sunnah. And we will see in the next slide how exactly to make ghusl. Saying Bismillah, as we did with wudu, washing the hands 3 times, washing the private parts with your left hand. You never touch your private part with the right hand, never. Barakallahu fikum. Making wudu, washing hair 3 times, washing the entire body, first right side, then left side. These are the sunnah acts. So now we will see how to make ghusl exactly. So if you see the slide, starting from the top, right? Niyyah, the heart thing there. So first the niyyah. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have niyyah in his heart. And we have various ahadith on how Rasulullah performed his ghusl from the Ummahat al-Mumineen, the mothers of the believers. May Allah have mercy upon all of them. So, niyyah in the heart always, number one on the top there. And then moving rightwards, clockwise direction, Bismillah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say Bismillah. Not Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, but only Bismillah, as we did with wudu. And then he would wash his hands, the right first and then the left, thrice. Again, this can be once or twice or thrice. 3 is maximum. And here when we say hands, we mean until the wrist. So until the wrist, not beyond the wrist, not the forearm, elbow, la. Only the fingers and the palms until the wrist. Clear? Type. And then with his left hand, very important, with his left hand, he would wash his private parts. So you wash your private parts with your left hand. Again, important point to note that you use as little water as possible. Do not waste water, as we discussed with wudu. So after Rasulullah would wash his private parts with his left hand, he would make the complete wudu, as we saw earlier. Again, starting with the hands. Though you've already washed your hands here. You already washed your hands here. But again, you wash your hands here. You make the complete wudu as you did, as we learned earlier. But there is a difference. There are 2 riwayat or 2 types of riwayat mentioned or from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on his ghusl. In one riwayat, he did the complete ghusl. Sorry, the complete wudu here in this step in the bottom. In the other riwayat, he did the wudu completely except washing the feet. And we'll see this in the next slide. So this slide is about the first riwayat. And both are proven, both are sahih. You can use any one or sometimes number 1 and sometimes number 2. Option 1 or option 2. It's up to you. And that is better to mix both sometimes, yeah? So the complete wudu is done, alhamdulillah, as you did with, as we learned earlier. And bear in mind, you're naked because you're doing ghusl. So you can make, somebody asked a question last week, I think, if you can make wudu being naked. Yes, you can. It has no bearing. It's not a condition to wear your undergarments or inner garments or boxes or anything to make wudu. This is not a condition. Yeah. Type. So once the wudu is finished, including washing the feet, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would then pour water on his hair, on his scalp. Okay. Starting with the right and then moving to the left. Once or twice or thrice. Starting with the right and then moving to the left. So if you're using a hand shower or a mug or something, you start pouring on the right side with your right hand. With the left hand, you rub your scalp, making sure the water touches the roots of the hair. This is very important. Because Rasulullah says in the hadith, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, below or beneath every hair, every strand of hair, there is janaba. There is janaba. So make sure you rub your scalp and the water gets into the roots of the hair. This is important. Starting on the right and moving to the left. Once or twice or thrice. The whole scalp. And then finally, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would wash his entire body. Right? Right first and then the left. Only once. The whole body only once. Starting with the right and then the left. But make sure, brothers, it's very important, you wash all parts of your body. The back of the body, the lower back, the hands, the armpits, everything should get wet. Alhamdulillah. This is your ghusl, finished. Your ghusl is finished now. Clear? This is the first method, which is proven and sahih from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second method, everything is the same. Starting with the top, the niyyah, moving rightwards, Bismillah, washing both the hands, right first, then the left, once or twice or thrice, then washing the private parts with the left hand, and then coming to the wudu. Now in this riwayat, which is also sahih, Rasulullah did the whole wudu except washing the feet, which is the last part, right? He did not wash his feet. He continued, he poured water over his head, starting with the right, moving to the left, rubbing his scalp, then pour water over his whole body, beginning with the right side and then moving to the left side, the whole body once. And then finally, when this was done, he moved aside a bit. He stepped aside a bit from his spot where he was having the ghusl. He moved a bit, and now he washed his feet. Now he washed his feet. The right first, and then the left, including the ankles, as you do for wudu. Clear? This is the only difference between the two methods. Otherwise, everything else is the same. Wadah, this is the ghusl. So your ghusl is finished, and you go for salah or whatever. You have purified yourself from hadath akbar. Again, hadath asghar requires wudu to purify. Hadath akbar requires ghusl. Barakallahu feekum. Clear? Actions which require tahara, or to be in a pure state. Making salah, as we all know, you cannot make salah without being pure. Making tawaf of the Kaaba, not sa'i, tawaf of the Kaaba. Touching the mushaf. When I say Quran, I mean the mushaf, the Arabic text which you find in the masajids, yeah, not the translations of the meanings, the tafsir, no, these are not considered mushaf. Or the smartphone versions, no. The actual hard copy, cover to cover Arabic text, ayat and everything which you find in the masajids, this is the mushaf. To touch this, you need to be in a state of tahara. This is the most correct opinion, inshallah. Things which are haram to do without ghusl. So you're in a state of hadath akbar. You approached your spouse, you what else? We talked about this, right? Things which require ghusl, yeah. So for these post birth bleeding, menstruation, and so on and so forth. So all acts which are haram without wudu. So any act which requires wudu, also this becomes haram. Reading the Quran or sitting in the masjid as well. If you're hadath akbar, you cannot sit in the masjid. You can pass through, but you cannot sit in the masjid. Naam, even reciting the Quran from the mushaf and so on and so forth requires to be purified from hadath akbar. Barakallahu feekum. Taib. So I want to stop here because I'm sure you have some questions on ghusl. So let's go back to this ghusl slide. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hands or you can use the chat box, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum. And we will do this because we're going to stop with this for today. I don't want to start salah today, inshallah. If you have any questions, please, brother Mujib. Naam.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustad.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
For ghusl, I heard that we need to wear some cloth on the body. We should not be naked. Is that true or?
No, like we said, brother, we need evidence for this. So whoever told you this, ask them to bring an evidence that you need to have a cloth over your body before doing ghusl, because ghusl is washing the body. If your body is covered, this is difficult. You cannot wash your body, right? And your ghusl will be incomplete. Your ghusl will be incomplete. Yeah. The only thing you have to bear in mind when you're making ghusl is try to avoid touching your private parts, right? Especially after the wudu, because let's say you made your ghusl and your wudu and everything, and you touch your private parts. So now your wudu broke. You're again back into square one, right? So in this case, what do you do? So let's say I'm making ghusl, okay? I made wudu and everything. This slide here, I made wudu, yeah? And I'm washing my, let's say what? Washing my head, for example. I'm washing my head here, scalp, yeah? I'm washing this part now. And I happen to touch my private parts. Remember we discussed in wudu, there is a difference of opinion among scholars. Some scholars say if you touch your private parts with passion, it breaks your wudu. Some scholars say just touching your private parts breaks your wudu. Whichever opinion you take, right? Now, let's say your wudu is broken because you touched your private parts. Now, so in this case, what do I have to do? Do I have to go back and start my ghusl again? No. You finish your ghusl, in the end you make wudu, that's it. Again. So during ghusl, I finished wudu. I'm washing my scalp here, this position here. Now, and I happen to touch my private parts. And the opinion I'm following, this wudu is broken now. My wudu is broken. Do I have to go back and start my ghusl again? No. You complete the ghusl, wash your body, and in the end, make wudu again. That's it. And you're purified, alhamdulillah, and you can go and pray. Wallahu a'lam. Brother.
Ustad, one more question.
Hang on. Let me give everyone a chance. Brother Mujib, I will come back to you. Let me give others a chance. Brother Isam Zahir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Ustad, I want to ask that do we have to recite, do we have to say Allahu Akbar while we perform the ghusl or wudu?
No,
while washing parts? Or
no,
is
no,
it
no,
required?
no. It is not from the Sunnah. Rasulullah did not do this. Whoever says he did this, he has to bring evidence for this. Now, you only say Bismillah before you start the ghusl, as you make with wudu.
And
But otherwise, in the end, you
and
say the dua, the same dua which you make for wudu. Same dua.
yeah, and while washing the head, I mean, do we have to pour on continuously on the left, right? Or I also heard, I don't know, I mean, that we have to take in the hand the water and put it on your head and rub the scalp 3 times.
Either way is fine. See, brother, either way is okay. Either you take water into your hand and rub your scalp, but the sunnah is to pour. Rasulullah you should take water and pour it on his head in the tumbler or in a beaker or in a mug or something. Or if you're using a shower, the hand shower, you hold the hand shower over your head and you wash the scalp. Nah? But if you want to save water, use a beaker or a mug or something. This is better to save water. You can also take it in your palm and pour it over your head. As long as you're washing it and rubbing it and making sure the water reaches the roots, that's fine, inshallah. Wallah. Taib. Brother Muhammad. Barakallah fiqh.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustad.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, just a quick question with like coming in contact with your wife, after you instead of, let me say you want to do and you're about to go pray, and let me say you live in your house and you want to say goodbye to your wife. And, like,
brother, sorry, brother, your sound is not clear. I'm not able to understand you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Now I'm just asking, instead of, let me say you're in wudu and then you're to go pray and then you live in your house and let me say you want to say goodbye to your wife and then you kiss her. Does that break your wudu or?
No. This will not break your wudu. Kissing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we have a hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, al-Mu'minin, our mother, that before going to Salah, after making wudu, entering the Masjid Nabawi, he used to kiss his wives and go. So from this we know kissing your wife will not break your wudu. Barakallah.
Okay.
Barakallah. Brother Khaja Faizuddin. Naam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
If we are using shampoo or soap, what is the in this case?
Right, okay, good question. So for example, let's say you are having a normal bath, right? So which means, this is another point, sorry, good thing you reminded me. I forgot to mention this. When we say ghusl, right, in Islam, this is what we mean, what you see on the slides. Because some brothers think ghusl is just a bath. So let's say tomorrow morning I want to go to work and I have my bath every day. So I enter the bathroom, I put some shampoo, wash it here and there, and I leave. This is not ghusl. This is just a bath, right? Now, because the ghusl needs to have a niyyah for purification from hadath akbar, right? So let's say I want to do both. I want to use shampoo, soap, rub my body, clean my body, and do this. So you have, let's say, two options. You basically do that first. So you rub shampoo and soap and everything and clean yourself as much as you normally do every day. And then after this, you make the ghusl as you saw on the slide. So you have the niyyah and do the whole thing. And now, alhamdulillah, you have done both. Wada?
Yes. Ustad, if we are ghusl done, we don't need to do wudu.
Okay, this is a question I get in every batch, actually. I don't know why there is a misunderstanding. See, wudu is for purification, to make you pure from hadath akbar. Clear? Ghusl is to purify you from hadath akbar. So in both cases, the end result, the objective, the outcome is you're purified. Halas. So why do you want to make wudu again? You're already pure. And wudu is part of ghusl anyway, as we saw. There is no need to make wudu again. You're already pure. Clear? Wallahu alam. Brother Yusuf. Brothers, please.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, Ustad. Ustad, while entering the bathroom, I thought I need to do ghusl as well as like a bathing, like you said. So the confusion I have is I have an intention of niyyah. Then instead of go to the bathroom, I done the bismillah. Then I wash my hands 3 times, left, right, and left. Then I clean my private part. Then I need to wash my hand right and left 3 times. Then the face, mouth and nose. Then the face. Finally the hand. Then I need to come to that hair part also 3 times. Okay. After that, I cannot wash my feet. Like means I need to move away from that feet, right? Before that, after I washing my hair and my ears, shall I do that bath right side shoulder? I put the water and clean it side. Then center hair, my body. Then left side shoulder. Then I clean it. Then I add my shampoo, everything else. Then after I finish it, then I'll come aside. Then can I wash my feet?
Okay, okay. No, no. Okay. So you want to use this method, for example, right? So in this case, what you will do, you will finish this completely. You will finish this completely, and then you can do your normal washing. But make sure if you touch your private part, you have to repeat your wudu again.
Okay, that's why. Because while doing the soaping thing,
yeah, you finish this, move aside, wash your feet, then come back.
So whether I need to do the bath first or I need to do the ghusl first, because if I touch the
there's too much disturbance in your background. There's some children shouting. I can't hear you.
Ustad, this is not this brother, but is some guy named.
Somebody else? Yeah, Ikhwani, brothers, please mute your microphones. The ones not speaking, please mute your microphones. Barakallahu feekum.
Ustad, one doubt last. Whether I need to do bath first, then I need to do ghusl, or I need to do ghusl, after that I need to do bath.
It's up to you, brother. No, it's up to you, brother. Anyway, it's okay. Anyways, okay.
Because after ghusl, if I do the bath, means if I touch my private for doing shopping,
yes,
and
yes.
that will break the ghusl,
restriction. Right? There's no restriction. If you touch your private parts, your wudu breaks. You need to repeat your wudu. So it's better you do your bath first and then ghusl. But even the other way is okay. As long as you're careful, even the other way is fine. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, Ustad. Jazakallah khairan. Barakallah.
Brother Muhammad Mubin.
Assalamualaikum, Ustad.
Walaikum salam.
Ustad, my question is, I think tayammum is the replacement for wudu in case of scarcity of water.
Nah.
So can it be a replacement of ghusl also or not?
Well, a good question, mashallah. So good question. The brother asking now, let's say he's in the state of Hadath Akbar, and he is to have to make this ghusl for purification, but there is no water, or the water is very less, or the water may harm him. Right? Okay. So in this case, what does he do? Tayammum is sufficient. There's a story to this actually. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the Sahabi, he was in a state of janaba, approaching his wife, and there was no water. So what he thought, because you wash your body completely for ghusl, right? So he rolled in the sand. And when this news reached to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he came back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said it was sufficient for you to make tayammum. So from this we know that tayammum also replaces ghusl in the cases of lack of water, or water is very scarce, or it will harm you. Wallahu a'lam, barakallahu feek.
But Ustaz, we have to at least get rid of the najasat, right? Before we make tayammum.
No. This tayammum. If you don't have water, how will you get rid of it? See, najasa is different. Najasa and hadath are two different things. That's why I explained to you earlier.
Yes.
You have to get rid of najasa by wiping it or scratching it off or something like that. Najasa is different.
Yeah.
Hadath is different. Hadath for wudu and ghusl is for hadath asghar and hadath akbar. Najasa is by clean by washing, scraping, wiping away, scratching away, whatever. Yeah. Nah. Brother Ilyas. Nah.
Assalamu alaikum, Ustad.
Walaikum salam.
While taking bath before wudu, can we touch our private parts in right hand? Should not touch.
Never. You never touch your private parts with your right hand. Never. Ghusl, not ghusl, urination, feces passing, motions pass. You never touch your private parts with your right hand. This is not allowed.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Hang on. There's this question in the chat box. Is ghusl different from a normal bath? The steps are different, but is the normal bath considered ghusl? No, it's not. We talked about this with the Sayyid Muhammad Saleh. I hope it's clear. Normal bath is different, ghusl is different. The steps are different, and there is a niyyah involved for the ghusl. After ghusl, do we need to make wudu to perform salah? No. Muhammad Azharuddin, we discussed this. Wudu is part of ghusl. So, and you're purified anyway. So you don't have to make wudu again unless you break your wudu. Okay. Who else do I have? I just have a few minutes more. Ahmad Hai.
Teacher, I want to ask.
Ahmad Hai.
Yeah. My name is Ahmad.
Ahmad Hai. Sorry, Ahmad Hai. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam.
On this topic, can I share my one personal story?
No, brother, no, sorry. Jazakallah khair. Maybe in the Q&A session. If you have a question,
But
yes.
its objective is for learning actually, not
No,
for
Jazakallah
sharing
khair.
the
I am the
story.
one teaching here. Jazakallah khair. I am the one teaching. So if you want to discuss in the Q&A session, we'll have a separate Q&A session. But now you have a question, you can ask a question. Otherwise, no, please. Jazakallah khair. Brother, who else is there? I think we covered everyone. Okay, I see brother Bilal Sheikh here. Are you there in the class? Brother Bilal?
Yes, I am there.
Barakallah fiqh. Brother, you gave the Kitab Tawheed exam for me, right? I don't have your any contact. I wanted to send you your marks. So can you send me a Telegram direct message on Telegram?
Okay, khalas, I'll send it inshallah.
Barakallah fiqh. Jazakallah. Because I wanted to send you your marks were pending. Okay.
You're not on WhatsApp, sir? You're not on WhatsApp?
No. Telegram.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Brothers, that's all we have time because I need to quickly run through
Assalamu
this.
alaikum, Ustad.
Who is this? Walaikum assalam.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a quick question. Last week I asked a question like, in what condition you have to pray with your shoes on? But I didn't get a. You said this week, but I don't think you
Oh
have
yeah,
time
the
now.
shoes on.
But inshallah, if you have time, you can explain. But if you don't, I'll try and put it in the.
I'm sorry, brother Syed. Next time, please remind me in the beginning of the Q&A so we can do that.
Inshallah, no worries,
Jazakallah khair. Because I need to hang on. I need to run through your attendance list again because they updated from the class. They updated